All rise. Vous vous levez. Please be seated. Vous vous asseoir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Witness.
Monsieur le juge.
Witness, good afternoon, Your Honors.
Floor is to the defense for Mr. Gbagbo. Maître le titre.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Mr. Altit, thank you, Mr. President.
Monsieur le témoin.
Mr. Witness, we will now continue page 124 of the French transcript of yesterday. You said that you learned from the foreign media what is supposed to have happened on the 3rd of March 2011, and that you talked about it in a meeting with the other generals and the SEMA. I will quote you. And that is line 1, I believe. I'm waiting for the interpreters to say whether they are ready. If there's no document, then the interpreters will simply interpret.
Just go ahead, reading slowly.
Alors, je cite.
And I quote, "We met at the General Staff headquarters to talk, but the match had ended, and it was the consequences that were in the entire national press and even the international press. So it was the information in the media, national and international, according to which women had been killed. It is that consequence that the SEMA was explaining to us. He said he did not yet have any precise information, but that he was doing everything possible. He was bending over backwards to ensure that there were investigations." End of quote.
Ma question.
My question is this. You, and to your knowledge, you and the other generals were only informed through the national and international media about what allegedly happened, or did you receive any other information other than that from the press? And I'm referring here to newspapers, radio stations, televisions, and so on. So my question is this. To your knowledge, you and the other generals, were you informed after listening to or reading the media, or were you informed through other means? Answer: I do not know about the others, how they learned about it. But as for myself, I heard it over a foreign radio station. And for my colleagues, I do not know how they learned about it because we met only much later in the course of the day. Question: very well. Do you know whether the radio television of the rebels. Well, not the rebels, not the rebels. The Ouattara camp. Did they cover the march or did they speak about it? Answer, I no longer remember. Question, very well. In that regard, a short while ago, you talked about the TCI. For the record, can you tell us what the TCI is, just to be clear? Answer, Télévision de Côte d'Ivoire. And they were broadcasting from the Gulf, or which was providing information from the Gulf. They told the people about what was happening in the Gulf, or about the point of view of the authorities who were at the Gulf. Question, very well. Do you know who operated the TCI? Were they Ivorian specialists or foreign specialists? Answer, I'm not in a position to give you details about that. I was not at the Gulf, and I did not have any contact with the journalists working in that television station. Question, very well. To your knowledge, as from when did the Abobo-Anador Road, as from when was it blocked? Answer, dates are always problematic for me, but approximately I can say probably March, but I'm not certain about that. Question, very well. And do you know how that road was blocked? With what? Answer, the troops had difficulties using that road to reach Abobo, and this is what led us to believe that the road was blocked. Otherwise, I do not think it was physically blocked by vehicles or other objects. It was rather the frequent harassment of troops whenever they took that road to travel to Abobo. Question, very well.
Alors, j'aimerais revenir un instant.
I would like to come back to your exchange with the High Commissioner for Human Rights. We talked about that yesterday. Can we display CIV OTP 0094-0305?
Alors, vous voyez la lettre, monsieur?
Can you see the letter, Mr. Witness? Answer, yes, counsel. Question, if we can go to page 0311, please, court officer.
Alors. Ok. Alors, ce document est...
This document is marked confidential by the Office of the Prosecutor, if I am not mistaken. I have a request, and I would like to apply to the chamber to decide to reclassify this document as public, because I do not see any reason for its confidentiality here.
I think we reclassified the answer yesterday, and I think the letter itself, that's of course, yes, public.
Please.
Merci, monsieur.
Mr. Altid, thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to my learned friend.
Alors, monsieur.
Mr. Witness, we are reading page 0311 of this letter, and it is stated there, I have the honor. Can you read well, or do you want it to be enlarged? Answer, I can see. Question, I have the honor to refer to the reports on the developments of the situation of human rights in Cote d'Ivoire following the presidential elections of the 28th of November 2010. End of quote. Now, so reference is made here to documents. Were there any documents, information, or elements that were communicated to you directly by the UN relating to what is mentioned here? Did you receive any further materials? Answer, no. Question, very well. Still on the same page of the same document, it is stated, and I quote, teams on the ground are supposed to have verified the allegations. To your knowledge, did the teams of the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, did they come to Cote d'Ivoire between the 16th and the 30th of December 2010? Answer, I do not know whether these teams were there, but I pointed out yesterday that when I sent my response to the High Commissioner, a team of 3 or 4 people introducing themselves as human rights officers in ONUSI in Abidjan came to meet with me after I had sent my response to the High Commissioner. Question, very well. But there you are talking about members of the Human Rights Division of ONUSI. Is that correct? Answer, yes. Question, to your knowledge, did representatives of the UN High Commissioner's Office for Human Rights contact Ivorian authorities during that period to obtain information from them on the post-election crisis? And please observe the pause before you answer for the interpreters.
Vous pouvez y aller, je crois.
You can proceed.
Je n'ai pas connaissance de cette information.
Answer, I'm not aware of that information.
D'accord.
Question, very well. Yesterday, page 63 of the French transcript, you testified having, and I quote, received immediately the response of the High Commissioner, end of quote. Did she send you a second letter? Answer. I believe that what I said was wrongly interpreted. I said that the reaction that I realized when I sent a response to this document here is that a team of 3 or 4 people responsible for human rights in Onusi, Abidjan, came to see me at my base at the gendarmerie school. We discussed and decided to stay in contact to follow up the activities of my men.
Et vous êtes resté en relation?
Question, and did you stay in contact? Answer, they called me from time to time, but since the situation was extremely difficult, later on I did not regularly meet with them, but we called each other from time to time to assess the situation, and they asked me some questions. Question, did they ask you specific questions on specific events? Answer, no, on the activities of SECOS. Question, were they trying to obtain confidential information? Answer, no, I do not think what they were looking for was confidential information. Question, do you remember the names of those 4 or 5 people? Answer, no, I no longer remember the names. Question, not even a single one? Answer, no.
Avez-vous collaboré?
Question, did you collaborate with other human rights organizations before or after the crisis? Answer, before, yes. Question, please proceed. Answer, we often received officers of the Red Cross and other organizations, but they were working with us, and at the same time they had accepted to give courses on international humanitarian law to our men, and so they had set up international humanitarian law modules both at the school and within SECOS. Question, very well. So those international humanitarian law modules, this training given to SECOS, did it continue during the crisis period? Answer, no, we did not continue. There were many disruptions, so they were not continued. The courses were given regularly before. Question, very well.
Alors hier, nous avons parlé d'une lettre.
Question, yesterday we talked about a letter from you which you sent in response to the letter of the High Commissioner. It is the same document. Can we have page 0315?
Alors, vous voyez, monsieur
You can see the letter, Mr. Witness, in front of you. Answer, yes. Question. Very well. I have a few questions about that letter. To whom did you send that letter? Answer. To Madame the High Commissioner of Human Rights of the United Nations in Geneva. Question. Very well. Were there any other addressees? Answer. No.
Alors, passons à la page suivante, la page 3.
Question. Let us move on to the next page, 0316.
Alors, ici,
Can you read well? Answer, yes. Question, very well. Here it is stated.
il est dit
Paragraphs. An annual seminar of 1 week focused on the teaching of international humanitarian law in the SECOS units. In the two cases, we benefit from the availability, support, and participation of military magistrates especially, and then here you have a name that is redacted. Do you remember the name that you included there?
Session, please.
Why?
Because it relates to the provider that redacted the
Yes,
copy.
Yes, but this is something.
In private session, we can discuss this, Your Honor. We have no objections for the name to be given by the witness. We're just saying that this name should be given in private session because it is redacted on the document itself. That's all we're saying.
Yes, but the reduction is done by somebody
third-
else, not by the.
That's right, because it relates to their staff members that are working in the field, that are being trying to protect. And just to give you an example, Your Honor, 2 weeks ago, 2 UN staff members were killed in Congo, if not 3, MONUSCO.
Monsieur le Président.
Maître Artide?
Merci. Alors,
Mr. Altit, that argument is inadmissible. We are talking about law here. With your leave, Mr. President, this is a question that has arisen. This letter was written by the witness who is here before us. It is up to him and to him alone to decide, to share, if he wishes or not, with us the contents of this letter. It is not up to the OTP to dictate which information may be given or not, or given confidentially and not publicly or not. Relating to the acts or actions of the UN and members of the UN and so on and so forth. We remember what you yourself said about the witness from the UN. The witness himself suggested that his superiors should have been called. But today, regarding the successive reductions, they don't want to say who did what because it is the UN. And yet the prosecutor is bringing evidence from the UN, incriminating evidence. So this is beyond us. the issue relates to the transparency of the proceedings and the transparency of the evidence. There is a possible